Hello, I'm Alan Furstenberg.
And I'm Mark Tucker, and welcome to Two Voice Devs.
Two Voice Devs. Wow, Mark, it's the end of the year.
Oh, it is. It's been a long year.
It has been a very long year. Um, but it's also been a good year. I mean, this is the year we had our 100th episode.
Yes,
Thinking about
and
it, it seems like so long ago, but we had our 100th episode.
we
Um,
did Voice Summit.
we did voice of it. We met in person.
Yes, we did.
So it's been a notable year. It's been a rough year in
Yeah,
some ways, but no, it's been a year. So I don't know. Let's what else have we done this year?
I know. I was thinking about it, looking back kind of over the last year. What were some of the things that we talked about? What were some of the things that I did as a software developer in the voice community?
Uh,
What did I contribute to the voice community this year? There's just lots of different things. One of the first things that comes to mind, though, is we talked a lot about voice content management systems.
we did. We really kind of got into this notion and talked a lot about it. I think on the YouTube we have a playlist of like 7 or 8 episodes for anybody that wants to go back and watch all of them.
And we just really explored, we know content management systems are important generally across different types of applications, and content really is king. And I think content really is extra important in voice, because if you have stale content in voice apps, then it's not something that people want to come back to.
Right.
And
It's
so we just
definitely
kind of
important for
explored
that
that.
repeatability.
Yeah. So we kind of explored, well, is there anything specific or special that would be needed in a voice management system, a content management system, sorry, in voice? And yeah, we came up with some good things to talk about in that area.
No, I think so. And I think, there's still a lot left to be explored there. And I'm
Hmm.
looking forward to talking about that more. But I think we covered some really good ground. And, based on that, you were doing a lot of work with exploring some of the notions with sanity and with outtense and how those go into the systems that you're developing.
Yeah, and it really has helped shape some of the different things that I do internally here at Rain, and also for side projects, kind of how I structure content. So it's been a good exploration this year, more about content management systems.
No, that's been fantastic, but I think also, seeing how that went into some of your work. I know you were working on some Jovo plugins to help you with that, but
Mhm.
also a bunch of Jovo plugins for other stuff, and we talked about some of those.
Yeah, so this was a big year where I kind of made the transition from Jovo 3 to Jovo 4. I've been with Jovo since version 1, so that's been years and years ago. And 4 is quite a bit different, and so it's taken me a little bit to get into that. There's a lot that I like, and I've made that transition from JavaScript to TypeScript as well at the same time. And I think I've got something like 15 published plugins that I've created.
Wow.
Whether that's baked into Jovo now, you can see that on the Jovo Marketplace or over on the Jovo-community GitHub. There's some additional ones, and we talked about some ones that I did for games, things like PlayFab plugin and Badgerific, which was an achievement system. Things with trending, like streaks and things like that. So there's just a lot of content that I've created, and I've kind of gotten a little knack for creating plugins for Jovo, and it's kind of fun, and it's a nice way to componentize what you're doing and make it easily pluggable into Jovo. So you've done some exploration on app actions, as I recall.
Well, that's true. I mean, this year the one of the big announcements from Google after Google I/O was that uh, conversational actions were being sunset next year. So there was more of a move to app actions. So I explored app actions some more. We also had a guest host.
Yeah.
Eliza was in talking about app actions with you. Um, so yeah, just beginning to explore, what does this world of Android mean for those of us that have been playing in voice in a in a webhook world,
Yeah.
and how, the pluses, the minuses, the changes that it brings about. I think we're going to see a lot of, you know, those sorts of things. Certainly, we're going to see more and more of it over the next year. Is
Yeah. So
where
voice and mobile.
voice and mobile, we're going to hopefully get more of an indication from Amazon where it's going, where their focus is going to be on
Yeah.
it. But I think also we're going to see, what are other people doing in the assistant space in general and playing with mobile. When we have tools that we've talked about, like ChatGPT or other AI tools, we talked a little bit about Dialogflow. How are all of these tools going to fit into it? So we talked about that a little, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go.
Yeah. No, that's been fun. And I've kind of on that same thread, I've been doing some more work through Rain, and as we're investigating with our partners, custom assistants, whether that be a custom assistant that's hosted in a website or in a mobile, and with their own custom wake words. And so very much there's still Alexa skills out there, but also investigating this custom assistant owned assistant platform.
But it's interesting in looking at each new platform as we do it, seeing what app actions, what you need to know and what you need to get into, and
Yep.
the differences and what you need to understand. Again, it's the same sort of the same but different, because a lot of what we did when talking about Alexa was exploring the nitty gritty now.
Yep.
How do we do webhook authentication signatures? Starting to get into some of the questions about how do we do things with APL. These were a bunch of the things that we explored.
Yeah, so you're right. Authorization on one end, and then on more on the UI, kind of the multimodal with Alexa presentation language. So yeah, I've done quite a bit more with APL, getting more and more sophisticated UIs. And I also have gotten in the last few months the opportunity to investigate widgets, which is also takes advantage of APL. But what does a widget look like? An Alexa widget on
I know there are a
an
lot
Echo
of
Show
people.
device.
I know there are a lot of people that are looking forward to the episode where you're going to finally be able to talk about that.
Oh, okay. Then I would love to be able to talk about them more, and it's just kind of fun. In some ways, it's just APL, but in other ways, how do you package and deploy those things? How do you share data? How do you keep the data live on a widget? There's lots of things that go into it that hopefully soon I'll be able to talk about.
I know lots of people are looking forward to it. And in the same way, we talked about some of the more lower level infrastructure stuff. So we talked about, AWS Lambda versus Google Cloud Functions versus
Yep.
hosting it yourself, and what all the trade-offs of all of those were. And what do we do with databases? How do we deal with them? What's the important bits about the architecture, especially when it comes to voice apps? And then just in general, what developing was like. We talked about some of these bigger picture questions.
Yeah.
And seeing what things were like as developers for voice and otherwise.
Yeah. Kind of what our history is and what what other people have experienced, and just kind of dealt with some of those issues. I would like to say, going back to one of the highlights of the year was Voice Summit. I just really enjoyed that so much.
It really was. And I think what was also great about it for me, in addition to seeing everyone, in addition to just being able to stand there and kind of chat about the stuff that we've always chatted about, and kind of, again, looking forward and what we wanted to do, I think we had some fantastic questions, some really challenging questions that came up during our session, or that came up while we were talking with other people,
Right.
about where we saw the industry needed to move, what we felt like the industry needed to do. And that's a question that always comes up in Voice Lunch as well, is, it's great to have these big blue sky ideas, but what do we need to do? What do we need to work on next week, next month, next quarter to move the industry forward? And I think you and I will have to have this conversation another time.
Yeah, we will. We'll definitely have to. Also kind of in association with that Voice Summit, that was kind of the culmination of the Alexa Skills Challenge that Heidi put together about aging and engaging and just lots of different things. That were lots of different skills across different categories that just showcased some of the things that we can do for the 55 and above community with voice skills, whether it be, in this case specifically Alexa, but across other platforms or modalities.
What I think was great was, you then had the conversation with Brett Adler,
Yep.
and to talk about theirs specifically, but also we had conversations with people and amongst ourselves about some of the apps that we had, that they were looking at or working on. So I was talking to Craig Walls about his Disney skill.
Yep.
And we had a conversation about what I'm doing with Voodoo Drive. So actually seeing how developers are building these skills that are out there that people can use, I think has been really, really fun over the past year.
Yeah, it has been. I excited about what I've worked on, but also seeing what other people are doing.
Exactly. And not just, what they're doing, which is always exciting, but how they're doing it. What were the challenges?
Yeah.
How did they overcome those challenges? It's always fun to understand better how we're going to start building these richer, more complicated skills, because that's what's going to be advancing this forward. There are only, so many times we can tell dad jokes.
I don't know. You can say the same ones over and over again. That fits right in with a dad joke.
That is true about dad jokes, yes. But so it's exciting to start getting an understanding of what we're going to need to build these more advanced skills.
Right.
And then, a little bit of blue skying. What is a skill that places an order, a food order look like, and how would we do that? And,
yep.
These were some of the conversations we had as well, which were really fun.
Yeah. And I don't know, I just look forward to next year too, just kind of seeing where the technology takes us and what new creative things people have thought up and put together. It's just going to be more and more fun as we go along.
No, I think so too. This year we had Alexa Live, we had Google I/O that we attended remotely, and this year hopefully I/O will be more in person, so I'll be able to be on the ground and reporting from there.
Yeah.
It'll be very interesting to see what comes out of Alexa Live next year as well.
Yeah.
Because I think we both, one of the things that I think both of us still have is we've seen some of the rough spots over the past year.
Yeah, we have.
And we've covered some of those rough spots. And we've been part of some of those rough spots. And I'm sure we'll be talking about we will be talking about some more of those next year. But hopefully also talking about some of the, pulling out of the trough that we're in and doing some great stuff.
Yeah, I think we still have a sense of optimism generally about voice. I think there's still a lot of potential there and a lot of space for creativity and exploration. So I'm excited for the next year to keep continuing.
And I think, kind of what our discussion about voice CMS said to me and reminded me of is that, here we were saying, here's a problem that we have as developers. How do we solve that problem? And I think next year we're going to be saying, here are these other problems as developers. How do we tackle some of those problems? Because some of them are development problems.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see what some of those are. And I think we'll talk about that maybe next episode.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, for example, I know that I used to rely more heavily on Google Analytics for providing analytics for voice applications, but they've made some changes to the Google Analytics 4 stuff that's not as helpful. And so I went exploring on some other things, and just finishing up some exploratory work on Google BigQuery and using that as a
BigQuery is fun.
yeah, it is what, and I that's what I use to plug into my different widgets to get some analytics. What's fun about it is, one, it's fairly easy to use, and on the other side is then I can just turn a spreadsheet into an analytics dashboard. I've got charts, I've got stats, I can do queries. It's pretty impressive, and it's free.
Yep. So there's another episode to look forward to next year.
So we
So
just want to wish everybody, a happy year, and time with family and friends, and just express our appreciation to the voice community at large for giving us this opportunity to learn and grow with you, and to kind of just explore these topics here on our podcast.
it's been fantastic getting the feedback from everybody as we go along, seeing your comments everywhere. And we look forward to talking about this more with you. And I look forward to talking about it more with you, Mark, next year
Likewise.
on Two Voice Steps.
Two Voice Steps. Take care, Alan.
Take care, Mark. Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year to you.